Hey, good morning, family. Out on that walk again this morning. This is Reginald Kuakaru of Kemetic Centered Living, and I wanted to talk to you today about what Kemetic Centered Living is about, because I know a lot of you are new to the channel, and there's new people coming in and subscribing, and I'm so appreciative of you guys. That are wanting to ride with me, and but I know there's still, you might not really know what this channel is about, because I see a lot of people might say things like, why do you talk about Christianity? Why do you put down Christianity? Stuff like that. And so I want to explain to you where I'm coming from with this, because ultimately this is what it's about for me, for you, and why I do what I do. Is that I want to create a space for people that want to live in a high vibrational, joyous state, okay? Every day of their life, and creating that's the ultimate goal, okay? That you live in a place and you create from a space that is happy, joyous, and ecstatic every day, all right? Now, once I recognized that was something that was needed, I started to look around in my community, looking around in the United States where I am, look around the world, and look at the African diaspora and how a lot of us are living, and how I grew up, basically in poverty. And it made me wonder why that was. Why is it that a common denominator for the African diaspora that was poverty? I saw a statistic a few years ago that over 400 million Africans that are Christian live in poverty around the world. That's almost 500 million people. And I'm like, what makes it that 500 million people worldwide live in poverty? And I have to talk about my people, because this is through my experience, okay? And I started to, once I went to college, I studied psychology, and I started to, and I got into that because I wanted to know what made people think, what made people tick, what made me tick, And once I started to recognize psychologically that how the Black experience was being projected or experienced in the world, I saw a common theme, okay? And that common theme was people that really lack self-confidence and self-esteem, okay? And that's for a lot of reasons. And one of the big reasons was white supremacy and racism, okay? Now, I don't believe in my lifetime that that's gonna go away, white supremacy and racism, okay? But I have to operate in a way that becomes irrelevant. How do I do that, And that's where I started to operate my life in a way where white supremacy and racism becomes something that is irrelevant in my life. I'm not looking for, sorry, I gotta negotiate a little bit of mud and stuff here. So how do I operate that? And how do I become a person that, in spite of everything that my life was supposed to be, every statistic that I was supposed to be, grew up poor, poor neighborhood, in poverty, single parent mom, all of this stuff. How was I going to be different than the majority of the people that are of the African diaspora? So psychologically speaking, I saw a common denominator as well, was that, and this goes to why do I speak on Christianity, okay? And the common denominator is that there were more churches in my neighborhoods than businesses owned by the people in the neighborhoods, okay? The neighborhoods were not self-sufficient. So I was like, okay, well, if Christianity is supposed to be something that, does something good for us, why is it that we're living in poverty? Why is it that so many of us are living in poverty? What is the mindset that we're being taught through Christianity? And that mindset was basically, you're a born sinner, which every Christian believes that, white, black, brown, whatever, that you have to profess these things, that you're a born sinner, which ends up coming down to a lot of times, I'm a wretch, I'm, all these negative things, I'm no good, I can do nothing without God. All these messages that we basically ingest every Sunday. But it was affecting black people and people of color on another level, that it was basically keeping people down and downtrodden, okay? So there was something insidious about that to me. And that's why I started to analyze and started to look at what these messages do to people psychologically. Now, I'm speaking specifically to what my experience was as a black person, but these principles are the same for anybody. But for white people, it was a little bit different, because God, in the context of Christianity, God looked like you. And on some level, you could believe that you were a God, okay? So that's the difference. For people of color, where God doesn't look like them, that becomes a psychological hook to basically drag you down. Because ultimately, your salvation was going to be based on a system and a people that you looked at as oppressive, okay? And you had to worship this God. So that is one of the reasons why I talk about Christianity, because a lot of times people have not even looked at how these ideas have affected them, okay? So my belief is that if Christianity has uplifted you and it has made you a better human being, it is making your life better and more joyous, then you need to keep doing Christianity, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and tell somebody that it's working for, that they shouldn't do it, because obviously it's working for them, and that's all that matters, okay? But I look around my family, my communities, the neighborhoods all over the world, and I know that that's not the case, okay? So when you come to Kemetic Centered Living, what I'm gonna do is, I might make you mad, because I'm gonna provoke thought in you, okay? I'm gonna make you think a different way. Even if you don't agree with me, I've still accomplished something by just simply making you think outside the box that you were in before. And once a person is stretched outside that box, they cannot go back to the same way of thinking, okay? I don't care how hard you try. It's still gonna be something that's there, all right? So I'm gonna provoke thought. But the other thing is I'm going to inspire you to be better, to be more, to do more, and to have more, okay? But that has to come from a place of you knowing who you are and you not being afraid of being who you are. Because a lot of times when you suffer from bad self-esteem, you don't think who you are is worthwhile to even be who you are. And that's what a lot of us as the African diaspora, we suffer from, okay? On many different levels. We can achieve in one area of our life, but still deep inside there's something that just tugs at us, okay? That has to change, because until we can build ourselves from within, our communities are going to reflect what we truly are from within, okay? And we ingest these messages of being broken and needing something outside ourselves to fix us, okay? That has to change. And we are getting that message every single Sunday, okay? So it's not against Christianity per se, but it is definitely going against the negative programming. It is to help you to get over that negative programming. Now, with common sense, most people are going to agree with what I just stated, that Christianity is based in negative programming and fear, negative programming, low self-esteem, self-loathing, stuff like that. The average person will agree with that. But the programming is going to tell you that if I say something negative about Christianity, that I'm beating down your beliefs and I'm going against Jesus and all of this stuff, and you fight that, all right? So I'm going to say to the people who want to be Christian, stay there. It's okay. This is for the people who are searching for something more and searching for something different. Because even for me, I started to question when I was very young. I became an atheist when I was very young, okay? But inside me was something that needed a spiritual connection. I ended up going, even after I was atheist, I ended up going back to Christianity, not with the same blinders on, but going back into that system because I wanted to connect to something spiritual. So I know that on some level, Christianity does have some spirituality tied in it, but it's just enough to keep you hooked, okay? But it's going to bind your mind in a way that is going to cause you to have to fight through a lot of limited thinking, okay? Again, there are exceptions, but as a rule, especially for Black people, look around. Why is it different for us, okay? Look around. As a rule, poverty rules, okay? Why is that? And I'm telling you, if you don't start to analyze these doctrines that we have been taught, like the fall, total depravity, and stuff like that, we are going to continue to live in poverty because those doctrines are anti-human. They are anti-humanity, okay? And we end up living life from a place of fear and limitation. So at Kemetic Centered Living, I want to uplift you. I want to teach you the technical aspects of spirituality outside of a religious box, okay? And I want to teach you where these ideas came from. So that's where a lot of my videos that when I'm talking about Christianity, I'm actually showing you how these doctrines came to be and where the mentality of the men that made them came from, okay? Where their mentality came from. So, and I'm giving you book references and documentation because if you want to, I want you to go and look that stuff up for yourself. Check me, okay? Check what I'm telling you. All right, don't accept me. Don't just accept what I say without checking me, because in that way you're being no different than you were when you were a Christian. Okay, so with that said, basically I am wanting to give people that are looking for something more and something different a place to go. Okay, and that's why I created Kemetic Centered Living. So it is to help us as people congregate in like mind. And this is not by how we look. It's about how we vibe, okay? So it's open to everybody. But I recognize too that there are people that will not hear my message because of what I look like. I'm okay with that, okay? So the people who vibe with me, come on. The people who don't, hey, do you, okay? All right, this is Reginald Kuakaru. I'm signing out. So at Kemetic Centered Living, you learn how to live life boldly, authentically, unapologetically, and on your terms without guilt or shame. Other people talk about spirituality. I teach you how to spirituality, all right? Hey, y'all have an amazing day.